So, as most of you know, Cloture was backed 79-19 in the Senate. 25 Republicans voted for Cloture. I'm from Georgia, and both my senators, Saxby Chambliss and Johnny Isakson, Johnny Isakson, I may have mispronounced it, but he, both of them voted for Cloture. And what happened was that they were trying to defund Obamacare, everybody else who didn't vote for Cloture. Okay? And by voting for Cloture, you agreed to fund Obamacare. But yet, Isakson is going to say, I voted against that. And that's a crying shame. And and you got McCain and Lindsey Graham, who are more known, will say that they voted for it. You got Lisa Murkowski from Alaska, and you got a host of other senators, such as Mitch McConnell, who is the minority leader in the Senate. He voted for Cloture. So you got your establishment senators, 25 of them in the GOP, along with all the Democratic senators who voted for Cloture. And people say, that Obamacare wasn't going to be defunded, and that Social Security checks would stop making it into people's mailboxes if they had a government shutdown. Well, the government shutdown was only going to be partial, and Social Security checks were going to arrive in the mail. And, personally, Social Security, in my opinion, is a sham, but maybe I'll make another video about that sometime. I don't know if I will, but I'm saying I might. However, people say that, Obamacare, that insurance companies did not want Obamacare in the first place. Well, I think that's just an act, personally. As far as I can tell you, it actually helps the insurance companies. And here's why. Originally, employer-provided health care was put in place, as an incentive that some companies would offer potential employees. Wages used to be price controlled, and it was, and with that, many companies offered insurance plans to make recruiting more competitive. But now we no longer have price controls on wages. That was during the 50s that we had that. It may be part of the 60s too. But, so what happens is employers no longer have to provide health insurance to employees if they're working part-time. And most places are going to work you now 30 hours or less. Maybe 29 hours at the most. That's probably what's going to happen with Obamacare in your hours at work. Because if you work a certain amount of hours, the government says that if a business has up to so many particular employees, I think it's 14. Don't hold me to that number. It was maybe 10, 14, I don't know how many, but don't hold me to a number. Don't say that you're right or wrong, because I don't know the answer. I'm just making a reasonable estimate here. And the reason why employers buy in bulk, the reason why it was so good for insurance prices, for the average person at their employer, it lowered the rate that you had to pay for insurance because it was in bulk. Now, you don't have as many in bulk insurance policies, so what's going to happen is you're going to pay possibly, up to 200% or more higher than your current premiums. And I'm in the 25 to 35 demographic, where they're going to make you pay more for your insurance than many other age groups. So the price has risen. And the insurance companies, they wanted Obamacare all along. They're lying to you when they said they didn't want it. They want to maintain customer loyalty to them by acting like they were against what they initially supported. You know, because they say that you can change your service and your providers if you want to, so please. You know, and I guess that's basically true, but the thing is that they want to act like they were against it. Pardon the background noise. That's my two cats. They're probably going to fight each other soon. But, you know, it's just with Obamacare, it helped the insurance companies. You know, and they loved it, and it was, you know, they had this idea for a long time. You know, you remember Clinton Care during the Clinton administration, when they were trying to get the idea through, and it just never worked. And then you had Romney Care, and everybody in Massachusetts was thinking, you know, Mitt Romney was a jolly good fellow, you know, because he instituted it while he was governor. Well, you know, the idea of universal health care, it was not just a Democrat idea. It would cross over to the bipartisan. I've heard, you know, rumors that, you know, Newt Gingrich was supportive of it during the days of, you know, Hillary Care or whatever. I can't verify that claim, but I thought I heard it somewhere. So, you know, you got Republicans, you know, who like the idea of universal health care. Thing is now, many of them didn't vote for Obamacare originally. Some of them did. Well, they needed to say we're different than Obama. They needed to present that image. So, you know, if they voted for Obamacare, people would have thought, oh, there's not much difference between these two guys. You know, you're Republican and you're Democrat, congressman. And really, there's not much difference between them, if at all. Now, you can say Rand Paul's different, Ted Cruz is different. You can say that easily. You can say Justin Amash is different, Mike Lee is different, Paul Brown is different. You can say that. But for the most part, your congressmen and, you know, basically your House of Representatives, you know, and your Senate members, well, there's not much difference between the two, quite honestly. And this vote in support of Cloture, that agreed to fund Obamacare. So, you know, you might want to do as I'm really considering. I'm most sure I'm going to do it. The only problem is remembering to do it. Tomorrow, since I don't have anything on my schedule tomorrow, I was going to go back to tax class, but I don't have anything on my schedule. So what I'm going to do is, tomorrow I'm going to, you know, after I have a breakfast, I'm going to call Senator Johnny Isakson's office and complain about the vote for Cloture, because he just supported to fund Obamacare. So, you know, his representatives, you know, his staff is probably going to deny that he supported it, or they're just going to say we don't know nothing. Well, a vote for Cloture is a vote to support Obamacare. So you have 25 Republican senators who supported health care against your own will. Think about that for a second. We are in a fascist nation. It doesn't really seem to matter much which party you vote for anymore. You know, you might ask, John, what's your political affiliation? Well, I am a member of my county GOP. I've gone to district conventions twice within the last 2 years, and I went to last year's state GOP convention in Georgia. Well, you can say, you might want to say I'm a Republican at first, okay, but I'm not an out-and-out, fully loyal Republican. This is what happens when we don't hold a party to their principles. We wind up with 25 GOP senators who voted on cloture. You may say, John, are you a libertarian? Well, I voted for Gary Johnson in the election for president because I noticed that Mitt Romney, was basically just another Democrat wearing a Republican suit. So, in essence, Romney, cleverly disguised as a Republican. Okay, he keeps changing his stances a lot. He said he was against abortion. He said he was against gay marriage. So the social issues, they use that to distract you in the elections. And keep in mind, Romney was the father of Romneycare. And Romneycare and Obamacare had a lot of similarities. So when you're looking at the whole equation here, you gotta think that Romney and Obama were about the same. Because they didn't want to audit the Federal Reserve, neither one of them wanted to do that. They were very supportive of foreign intervention. So, with that being said, there's a lot of similarities. The only thing is that when you have abortion and gay marriage issues, and the Republican says, I don't want gay marriage and I don't want abortion, people are going to vote for him without looking at their other issues a lot of times. And this is what happens when you have people in the Senate and in the House. You're a U.S. Congressman, you're a U.S. Senator, alright, you have them, you don't really seem to hold them accountable because, we're going to hold them, we're going to hold to the party line here. We're not going to think outside the box and go third party. So you can say, ideally, I don't even know if I should call myself a Republican because they don't really want me in the Republican Party. They don't want somebody who's going to hold them to their principles. Okay? You have 60% of the Republicans in the state party who will support whoever the nominee is. And that's our problem. If you have somebody like Johnny Isakson, who I don't think is running for re-election this year, he's going to run for re-election in 2 years from now. Okay, but you have the Saxby Chambliss seat in Georgia being vacated. Alright, and you got Paul Brown and you got Derek Grayson, both very good candidates for Liberty. Right now, I'm leaning towards Brown, but I'm seriously considering my position here, as I like more of what Grayson is saying, so I may switch. The main thing here is we got to hold them accountable to their principles, or we're just all going to roll over at gunpoint, figuratively or literally, we don't know yet, to the agenda of cronyism, fascism. It's all part of the New World Order, and they just, in the New World Order and the Illuminati, whoever you want to say, I'm a believer that the New World Order and the Illuminati work hand in hand, and that they're planning the New World Order through the Bilderbergs and the Council on Foreign Relations and whoever else, Club of Rome, and all that, and even the rarely talked about Council for National Policy, who is literally destroying the Republican Party from within. Because you have Blackwater and the Devos Corporation. You know, some people say Davos. You know, they're both in there trying to destroy the Republican Party from within. And this is what happens when we have infighting. And we need this infighting, people. We do. But at the same time, you know, the establishment seems to know every dirty trick. And we just can't overcome against them. And this is what happens when you elect, you know, or try to support Romney. This is what happens when you voted for Saxby Chambliss or Johnny Isakson in Georgia. You know, when you tried to vote for McCain in 2008, whenever you tried to keep Ron Paul out of it from winning, this is what happens. We wound up with Obamacare being funded by 25 Republican senators and all the Democrats in attendance. This is what happened. And I think it's about time we realize what happened and we take a stand. And by not re-electing people like Johnny Isakson, John McCain, Lindsey Graham, Lisa Murkowski, and all the other pro-Cloture senators. I think I might have to go because they're about to fight.